My son and his lazy wife demanded money after finding out my income. You know, life throws you curveballs, but nothing quite prepares you for the one where your own son and his wife decide your salary is their salary. Last month, they somehow unearthed my exact income, and barely 48 hours later, they were standing on my porch. Not with flowers, not with apologies, but with a printed spreadsheet. A color-coded, meticulously calculated spreadsheet informing me I owed them $7,600 a month for the rest of their lives. Can you believe it? My first reaction was an incredulous laugh. Theirs? They called a lawyer. By the end of that whirlwind week, I'd blocked my own child on every single device I own. And trust me, you'll want to stick around, because the story of how they even discovered that number is going to make your jaw absolutely hit the floor. I've never been one to flash cash around. Seriously, you wouldn't know I have a decent income if you saw me in the wild. I still drive the same 9-year-old Honda, the one with the minor dent from that rogue shopping cart. Grocery shopping? You bet I'm armed with coupons, and I still meticulously clip those old-school, do not double ones. It's just how I'm wired. I work in IT compliance for a mid-size bank, a job that's anything but glamorous. The only reason my paycheck looks a little healthier these days is because last year I finally finished a second master ES degree. Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment, and the bank promoted me to senior risk manager. It was a big deal for me, a culmination of years of late-night studying and hard work. But did I shout it from the rooftops? Post it on Facebook? Nope. My idea of celebrating was indulging in a second slice of Costco pizza, in my pajamas, on the couch. That's my kind of party. But the universe, or perhaps just HR, had other plans. They sent the official congratulatory email to my work address. And Outlook, in its infinite wisdom, auto-previewed the salary bump right there in the preview pane. That seemingly innocuous detail, that little glimpse of a number, became the fuse. I, foolishly, left my laptop open when I dashed to the copier for a moment. My daughter-in-law, Brittany, was visiting that afternoon, supposedly because she needed to use my Wi-Fi for a Zoom job interview. Now, she swears up and down she wasn't snooping. But somehow, that exact figure, a hefty $11,400 a month after taxes, ended up meticulously transcribed on a yellow legal pad, right next to her half-empty latte. Coincidence? I don't think so. When I came back, the screen was awake, glowing accusingly, and a cold knot of dread formed in my stomach. Something just felt off. She left in a hurry, claiming the interview was moved last minute. Too fast, too flustered. 2 days later, my son Jason sent a text that felt less like a conversation starter and more like a declaration of war. We need to talk about family fairness. That, my friends, was the first domino to fall. And boy, did it trigger a cascade. To truly grasp the audacity of their demand, you need some context. Jason is 28, Brittany is 26. They've been married for 4 years now. In that short span, between the two of them, they've collectively held, and subsequently quit, 7 jobs. Every single one. The reasons? Always the same. The vibe was toxic, or the schedule cramped their creativity. It's a convenient narrative, isn't it? Meanwhile, they're living in a 1-bedroom apartment that my husband and I actually co-signed for. Which, for those of you keeping score, means if they bail, we're on the hook. We even shelled out for their security deposit and bought their fridge off Facebook Marketplace just so they could adult, as they so charmingly put it. Last Christmas, Brittany, with a straight face, listed her career as influencer in incubation on the family gift exchange form. Let that sink in. Her Instagram, if you're curious, boasts a grand total of 1,043 followers and averages a thrilling 12 likes per post. Groundbreaking, I know. Jason's latest grand scheme involves selling 3D printed dragon skulls on Etsy. They even own a $400 3D printer, which, you guessed it, we bought them for market research. It mostly sits there, gathering dust, occasionally churning out a wonky miniature. I've never, not once, called them lazy to their faces. I'm that mom, the one who still says things like, "You'll find your path," even when their path seems to involve navigating the endless levels of World of Warcraft. But internally, the resentment has been creeping, slowly, insidiously, for years. Every single time I have to transfer grocery money so their electricity doesn't get shut off. Every time I bail them out of some self-inflicted crisis, I swear, a tiny piece of my soul just withers and dies. It's an exhausting dance of enabling and disappointment, and I was so tired of leading. So fast forward to the porch ambush. It was a Saturday, 9 a.m. sharp. They rolled up, matching Starbucks cups clutched in their hands, looking far too pleased with themselves. And then, the piece de resistance. A meticulously color-coded spreadsheet, printed on thick cardstock. It was presented with the solemnity of a wedding invitation, only instead of celebrating a union, it was detailing my financial obligations to theirs. Brittany naturally took center stage. She began, "Mom, we've crunched the numbers. Your new income is $11,400 a month, and we believe as parents, you're supposed to help your children maintain the same standard of living. So, we're asking for $7,600 monthly. That still leaves you plenty." I blinked. Once. Twice. My brain actually short-circuited for a second. I instinctively looked behind me, half expecting to see a hidden camera crew, because this felt like a prank show. Jason, bless his oblivious heart, just nodded along like a bobblehead doll, completely devoid of self-awareness. He piped up, "Yeah, we'll set up auto deposit so no one has to remember." As if this was some minor administrative detail, not a brazen demand for nearly 70% of my hard-earned income. "Why?" I asked, my voice dangerously calm. "Why on earth would I do that?" Brittany, without missing a beat, had her answer prepped. "Because family helps family. Also, our rent goes up next month, and we deserve a comfortable life, not just survival." The sheer entitlement in her tone was breathtaking. Deserve a comfortable life? Without, actually earning it? That's when I laughed. Not a polite chuckle, not a nervous giggle. It was an ugly, guttural snort, the kind that escapes you when something is so utterly absurd, so beyond the pale, that your body just rebels. I told them the only thing I'd be auto-depositing was a copy of Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover, and they could pick it up from the library because, frankly, I wasn't buying it for them. The irony, the sheer audacity of them demanding my money while simultaneously being financially illiterate, was just too much. That's when they brought out the big guns, the emotional manipulation. Brittany, ever the dramatist, started to cry. Big theatrical sobs. "I guess you don't care if your future grandkids grow up in poverty," she wailed, dabbing at dry eyes. Jason, not to be outdone, muttered darkly, "We'll have to move to a cheaper state, and we'll probably get divorced. Hope that makes you proud." For half a second, the old mom gut punch landed. That visceral, primal fear that you're failing your child, that you're somehow responsible for their unhappiness. I pictured tiny, imaginary shoes I might never get to buy, a future generation I might never know. Then, just as quickly, clarity hit. They don't even have kids. They haven't even tried. "Are you pregnant?" I asked, my voice flat. Brittany sniffed dramatically. "Not yet, but stress like this makes it harder to conceive." And that, right there, was the moment. The exact second I realized that entitlement isn't just an attitude, it's a full-blown performance art. And they, my son and his wife, were giving me the full Broadway matinee, complete with tears, threats, and a perfectly rehearsed script. It was a shocking, almost grotesque display. I stepped onto the porch, deliberately closing the door behind me, not wanting my husband to have to endure round 2 of this circus. I looked them dead in the eye and said, my voice firm, The answer is no. Absolutely not. You are adults. Get jobs, learn how to budget, and if you ever speak to me like I'm a paycheck again, you will lose more than just money from me. Jason's face, already flushed, turned a furious crimson. He puffed himself up, trying to look imposing, and spat. If you refuse, we'll have no choice but to ask for our inheritance in advance. Dad told us the house is paid off. You can remortgage it. The sheer gall of it, the absolute lack of respect, was stunning. They weren't asking. They were demanding what they believed was theirs by right. I'd like to tell you I stayed calm, cool, and collected. I did not. The rage, the betrayal, the sheer disrespect, it all boiled over. I told them, in no uncertain terms, to leave my property before I called the cops for trespassing. Brittany, ever the one to get the last word, yelled over her shoulder as they stomped off. You'll regret this when we're homeless and the media hears how you abandoned us. I slammed the door so hard a picture frame fell off the hallway wall, shattering on the floor. My hands shook for a full hour afterward, not from fear, but from a mixture of anger, hurt, and profound disappointment. It was a seismic shift, a line irrevocably drawn. That was 4 weeks ago. And oh, the fallout. Since then, Brittany, predictably, posted a vague TikTok about toxic elders hoarding wealth that my niece, bless her heart, promptly sent me. Jason's grandma on his dad's side, a sweet but easily manipulated woman, got a tearful call saying I kicked them out with nothing but the clothes on their backs. Suddenly, half the family tree, particularly the more naive branches, aren't speaking to me. The whispers, the judgment, it's palpable. It's my own sister, usually my rock, even texted, "Couldn't you spare a little for peace?" I didn't respond with a lecture. Instead, I simply forwarded her their spreadsheet, the one with the $7,600 demand. Her reply was a single eloquent eye roll emoji. Some things don't need words. My husband, who has been an absolute pillar through all of this, and I met with our financial advisor. We updated our wills, which, let me tell you, was a somber but necessary conversation. And yes, we removed Jason as a beneficiary on 2 small policies. Harsh, maybe from an outside perspective, but necessary, absolutely. This wasn't about punishment. It was about protecting our future and our peace of mind from people who clearly saw us as an ATM. We also set up a small emergency fund, for us, not them, because I've seen firsthand how fast resentment can escalate into legal battles, and I wasn't about to be caught off guard again. Last I heard, they've moved in with Brittany's mom, which, honestly, sounds like a whole new level of drama for someone else to deal with. They're apparently on a mental health break from capitalism. Translation? They're likely playing video games in her basement, posting GoFundMe links with captions like, "Help us escape generational poverty." The last update I saw, they'd managed to raise a grand total of $43. $43. It's almost comical if it weren't so sad. Me? I sleep just fine these days. I still clip my coupons, still drive my faithful Honda, and I'm still diligently putting 10% into retirement, just like I always have. The only real change is that I no longer flinch when the doorbell rings. The anxiety, the constant low hum of worry about their next crisis, it's gone. Replaced by a quiet, hard-won peace. If you've ever dealt with family entitlement, with those thorny financial boundaries, please drop a comment below. Tell me how you held the line. I could really use the solidarity, and your story might just be the thing someone else needs to hear to grow a backbone of their own. And if this is your first time here, hit subscribe. I'm sharing new family drama stories every single week, because apparently, mine isn't the only one. I never wanted money to be the thing that broke us. I truly didn't. But if the price of keeping my child close, of maintaining some semblance of family harmony, is letting him auction off my future, letting him treat me like an endless supply of cash, then I'll pay the other price instead. The price of silence. The price of distance. The price of being labeled a bad mom in group chats I'll never even see. I am not an ATM. I am a human being who spent 30 years grinding through night school, navigating layoffs, enduring root canals, and making countless sacrifices to reach this place of financial peace. And I absolutely, unequivocally refuse to apologize for protecting it. So Jason and Brittany, when you inevitably watch this, because someone will send it to you, know this. The door is still shut. The budget app is still free. And that ridiculous spreadsheet you printed is now lining the bottom of my compost bin. May it finally grow something useful for once.